Rewind the tape.
Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of Wait, Rewind the Tape with me, Natalie.
And me, Ruth.
And this week we are embarking on a journey where you say to Middle Earth.
To Middle Earth, yeah.
To Middle Earth, because this is the start of our Lord of the Rings mini-series within a series. So obviously we're starting like normal people would on the Fellowship. Although maybe it would have been funny to do it backwards and see how we could piece it together. Although I've seen it many, many times, so I'd be okay.
You know it off by heart, so it wouldn't have worked for me. But guys, this is my first time watching the whole thing the whole way through.
Which
so
is
we're on opposite ends of the spectrum where Natalie,
I can't believe that.
Extended version, like all of them back to back loads of times. And I've seen a bit of the beginning and the end of the final film.
So, and just for context, today we'll be reviewing the regular version, which is only 2 hours 58 minutes long. Don't worry, this podcast episode is not proportionate in length to the films.
We
hope. And not the extended version, which is a whole 50 minutes longer than that. So that's what I used to watch.
Deleted scenes?
Yeah.
Okay, at the end you can tell me what's missing.
I mean, I can't remember what's missing. It's like, this is the first time I've watched the film in many, many years. And let me tell you, for me, it really stands up to the test of time. The music is incredible. Everything about it. Just watching it made me feel so nostalgic and weird but happy as well, and really like comforted. Especially because of the kind of films that the kind of times when I would go and watch it would be like, you know, if I was particularly sad or hungover, because you could just chuck it on and it was just there for you. And it also made me realize that while I did enjoy the Rings of Power series, I think I enjoyed it. A lot of my enjoyment was based, as I've said previously, on these feelings of nostalgia and warmth and comfort. But the series, and we'll talk about it like in for 3 weeks' time or whatever, but it actually doesn't really hold a candle to the original.
But that's because when you look at this film, as far as fantasy films go, like no one is making a film with this budget. No. This budget is insane.
Yeah. Production value, amazing. Cast, incredible.
I think the set is the best bit. The set is phenomenal.
The set is fantastic.
Yeah.
Does it make me want to go to New Zealand? Yeah.
I will also say that compared to most, like I feel like we'll probably get into it later, but with a good fantasy, sometimes I feel like this with the sci-fi as well. There has to be like, in a sci-fi, there has to be like a deep moral lesson for me anyway. But in a fantasy, I just feel like it hits so much harder when it's like that, like it's like there's a message for you in it. Like in the things that Gandalf says, it's like he could be talking to you, and it's just like kind words of like comfort, and like it's like kind of dealing with like how like the struggle of life and the position you can find yourself in, like somewhere you don't want to be, and it's like, hate to say it, it's a bit motivating. Like whereas some fantasies are just like, it's escapism, but a lot of the negativity of real life is reflected, but none of the inspiration, if that makes sense. So that's why I think this is like, this kind of writing wise, this kind of slaps. Yeah,
that's
also, I get it, Tolkien.
In its in its essence, if you boil it down, it's a story about a journey of kind of
sorry.
to Middle Earth, to Mordor, but of a hobbit who has this almost what feels like an insurmountable task ahead of him that may never be. He doesn't even know if he's going to be able to do it, but he's just going to set his mind to it, and he's going to give it a good old college try, because the whole of Middle Earth and life as we know it rests on it.
But I feel like when he started the journey, compared to just even the end of this film, it's like when you start something, the naivety is what makes you start. But when you're
Right, yeah.
halfway through and you realize what you're in, that's when shit gets fucking real. And
Yeah.
that's when it becomes more of a sense of duty where you're like, well, I'm already here. And if as I used to
That
say,
comes.
if not me, then who? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like that time, that point in Rivendell when Frodo just is like he can see everybody else, nobody else is actually up to the task, even though
Yeah.
they're bigger, stronger, braver, faster, whatever, more, have seen battles. No, none of the rest of them, not elf, not man, not dwarf, they can't do it. He knows he's got to do it. So he's like, okay, I'll take the ring to Mordor, but I don't know the way. I mean, if that's not been you at some point where you're like, okay, I need to do this and I will do it, but my God, I do not know how to get to the end goal. I feel like that's me every day. But unlike
Yeah.
Frodo, I just then don't bother starting things because I'm like,
But that's not true. Think about
don't know
how
how to
many
get
things
there.
that you've taken on and even to this day, you're like, God, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Even like,
Yeah,
remember when you
yeah,
brought Mango home?
yeah,
Before you brought Mango home, so Mango's Natalie's dog,
yeah.
you were like already like so stressed. There were so many things that you didn't know how you were going to do. And
Mm,
look at you now. Look at you
yeah,
now.
yeah, you're right. She is my Mordor.
Whoa. That is,
Sorry, Mango. I don't mean that. I feel like I'm manifesting.
oh my
I feel
goodness.
like I'm manifesting something bad.
No, but it's like
No,
a lot. Yeah. I do feel like the,
she's my
yeah.
journey, my fellowship. No,
It's
is
not
that too far?
working.
That's a reach. Okay. So not all situations in life will be directly comparable to Lord of the Rings, is what we're saying, but that you'll find
Yeah.
something that is.
This
Um,
is making me want to listen to the Aaliyah version of Journey to the Past from the Fox Animation Anastasia soundtrack.
oh,
What a phenomenal song.
yeah, really is.
Okay, sorry. But yes, I will be
Anyway,
watching that.
so we just steamed straight ahead into our off the top of our head thoughts about the film. But before we
Yeah.
do that, as always, how's your week, Ruth?
How was my week, Poof?
Yeah, I know. Sorry, that came out so wrong, and I hope that you wouldn't notice. I
I mean, I
waited too
could
much of a beat to
no,
correct
but
myself.
I could have easily let it go. But
Not today, not
not
this
today.
week. How
Not today.
was your week, Ruth?
I
Did I
mean,
say it
last
right?
week, yes, I think so.
Okay.
It sounded wrong, but that's because like
Yeah.
English is not a language. It just sounds. Am I describing all languages? Um, Last week, did I tell you this last week or had it not happened? I did not get a lucrative contract that would have saved my life. So I spun out and now I'm just really back to, I feel like after a shit experience, I go back to the core essence of who I am. Does that make sense?
Mm,
Just after the depressive episode, there's a sweet spot where I'm at my most, I'm the Ruthiest Ruth I can be. I'm the most
in what
organic
sense?
I can be. I'm just, I don't know how to explain it. I'm just like completely myself. Like, when you're doing a core exercise and you just finally hit your good form and it locks for
Hmm.
once, you're not shaking. Yeah. I'll spiral soon and forget all about it. But yeah, but I'm having a lot of flashbacks to school. I
Oh,
don't know where it's coming from. But yeah, I was thinking maybe I need to go back to therapy and try and deal with some of these feelings. But then it kind of makes sense. It could be just I'm coming to a point in my life where I'm just starting to feel like I'm living in such a state of inadequacy. I can't help but compare myself to what I once was in terms of my potential and feel like
mm,
I did not live up to it. But at the same time, then I'm thinking about how I'm not so much school, but when I'm thinking about university, I'm like, I'm still the same person. And it's like, how could 10 years have passed and I'm still essentially
I don't think that can
myself?
be true. I don't think that's true.
No, I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't mind who I became.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, it's just so weird. Anywho, how are you? Sorry to get all existential, guys.
How
You
am
know
I?
me.
Big news on the home front. I had
Oh,
my
come
one of my
on.
bedrooms painted. So this year's
Guys,
been a
I wish you
real,
could see it.
oh,
It
it's
is
so good.
gorgeous. It's so, so nice. You've done a phenomenal
It's,
job.
thank you. It's so pink. And I didn't ever think that I'd be like a pink kind of room kind of
I've always
person.
wanted a pink living room.
Oh, but
But
it's
you know
just,
I love pink.
it's amazing. But you know, when you've had a room that's freshly painted. Also,
Yeah.
this one I had professionals come and do it, and I painted my front room, and you can really tell the difference. It's not like I did a super bad job, but it's not like a professional finish. My front
Yeah,
room.
yeah. No, they honestly, it looks, guys, I wish you could see it looks stunning. Like I love it so much. If you should never leave it. I feel
It's
like
just
it will just
so
change the
nice to
vibe.
also be in that room. But then I was
Yeah.
also thinking about it, and I was like, oh my god, is this like a womb room? Because it's just very pink and warm. Is it like, is this what it's like in a womb? And then
Well,
that
you
made me feel a
can't
bit weird.
see.
But then
You
I
can't
was
see
like,
in the
oh,
womb. You can't see colour, can you, when you're that small?
no, not like in terms of the color, but I'm just
Am I
like,
inside a vagina?
well, no, different things. But I guess no.
I mean, I didn't know this. Oh, I'm not even going to confess that on this podcast. I'll take it to the grave.
Okay. Um, anyway, it isn't like that. It's just it feels really nice, but so nice that I'm like, no one can go in there. None of the animals. Sorry, guys.
Not you turning. Okay, I shouldn't say that either. But yeah,
No, I let
a
Brody go in
strict
there, but
mother.
Mango can't.
Oh,
The reason why Mango can't is because I have nice sheets on the bed at the moment, and she just has this habit of like chewing
yeah.
fabric. So she would go in there and she would nibble on the bed sheet, which would then
Honestly,
ruin the nice sheets.
I am talking shit. Like, if that was my room, neither of my pets would be allowed in there, period. Don't give a fuck. You better go outside.
I'm barely allowed in there for fear that I'll chip the walls.
This is our nice room. It's like everything changes.
No one goes in here, okay,
Oh my
guys? And it's
God.
just like had a mirror hung, which also
Yeah,
makes a difference because it feels a bit more like, sorry, this is so boring. But anyway, apparently that's the big news in my life. Oh, I'll tell you
that is
something
big news though.
that so I performed what I think is can only be described as a miracle on Friday night.
I'm sorry, but that is a big statement.
Well, just hear me out. Miracles can be small things as well, guys. Can I just
They
say
can
that?
be. Of course, they're the ones that
Um,
count.
so firstly, I'm getting round in at a pub in Soho, and I ordered a round, and then the guy is like, "Okay, cool," and then he goes on to serve somebody else, and I was like, "Do you want to pay? Do I need to pay?" And he just carried on serving somebody else. So I waited there for a beat, and then I was like, "You know what? I guess I'm not paying for these drinks." So I took the drinks off the bar. But then I got my comeuppance because as I was going back to the table, I then fell down the small flight of steps, but landed on my knees in such a way and held the glasses in such a way that nothing spilled.
What?
And yes, my knees were slightly bruised, but there was no blood. So that
That's not
is
bad.
incredible.
Did you injure yourself, or was it just like
No,
sore?
not really. Just not even sore. Like I've got a bruise on one of my knees, but it's not even like it was. Like it was kind of. I was down like two steps, so it's
I'm
not.
sorry, but that is
That's
a miracle. Because when I fell
thank
down the stairs
you.
with drinks, I ended up with fucking wine all over me. I
Yeah.
was drenched.
Luckily, the situation was it was clear liquid, so it wouldn't have been like terrible. But I also would have felt they would have gone forward, and then they would have spilt
Yeah.
over other people. Would have been glass. It would have been horrific. I don't know how I did it. It was incredible. If the it was so incredible what I did, and also the fact that these drinks I got for no money, whether that was intentional or not on the bar.
I think it's intentional.
That I didn't even feel humiliated. I felt proud
Yeah.
of what had happened. So
That's not, I'm sorry, but save it. When you fall and you save it, that's nothing to be humiliated about.
yeah,
That's win.
thank you.
That
So
is a
that was
really,
my week. A new pink room and a small miracle.
oh my God, amen. May we all have weeks like that.
Yeah, free drinks in Soho and not spilling them when you fell down the stairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Anyway, then I had a fairly uneventful weekend, which kind of culminated in watching Lord of the Rings on a Sunday night, which is a pastime that I would have done many times, many Sundays, many eons ago, and now look at me. So when we're talking about how we've changed as people, no, I haven't. And I'm so glad that we picked this to do this as a series. I was ambivalent before, I won't lie, because I just thought,
Yeah.
it's going to be so long. What are we going to talk about? But oh my God, as soon as that opening score came on, goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's an incredible film.
It is
Let's talk
funny
about it.
though.
Funny, like what, ha ha, or
Funny, like, ha ha. Like, so it will come up as we go along, but there were a few points where I was, because my sister always said, because she went obviously when it came out, would go and see it in the cinema, and she always said like the second one especially is hilarious, but you can't
the second
in the
one's fantastic.
cinema,
Yeah,
like
well,
you can't
Merry and
laugh because
Pippin really kind of come into their own. So I don't know, you'll like that. Also, like the relationship between Gimli and Legolas kind of starts to develop and take shape.
Yeah. No, I mean funny, like it's not supposed to be funny, but it is funny. Obviously, there's parts where it's supposed to be funny, but there's also just this underlying, I don't know there's so many things that happen, obviously, because it's fantasy and it's things that could never happen.
Also,
seeing them happen
sometimes it's
funny.
like Frodo's earnestness, Sam's earnestness, sometimes I find quite funny.
Do you think because that's another thing my sister always said, that she felt like their relationship, it was like, it wasn't like a friendship, it was like they loved each other romantically. But
I always thought that maybe Sam felt a bit like that, but then he marries Rosie.
But then I think that's just, we're also just not used to seeing like genuine love between men portrayed in film. So like maybe that's where that comes from. And I thought in another life, in like a more modern world, that would actually be probably like the greatest love story if they shot it that way. When they actually do fall in love. That's how to get me. A love story.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll see how we go, because I don't know. Yeah.
I think it would have been nice. Really sticks by. Sam's the real hero of the whole tale, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I know I've got to say you hate Frodo, and I can't see it yet. You do hate Frodo, don't you?
Okay. Just wait.
Okay.
He's fine in this film because it's
God complex.
I think it's
I can already see it. Savior complex, should I say?
I'm the only one who can do this, and it's also like, well, you're not actually doing it alone, so you're not the only one that can do this.
But it is. I won't give it to you. Let me see it first.
Just wait.
Okay.
But can I also say at the outset, maybe we should do this at the end, but I'm just going to bring it up now before I forget. This film, does it pass the Bechdel test? Bechdel, whatever. No, I don't think it does.
It does.
No, it doesn't pass it, because you don't have
women two women.
You're only supposed. Yeah, there's no two women that speak at the same time. And also, when with Arwen, she's there as like that. She has a love interest arc because of Aragorn, and Galadriel doesn't appear with any other women.
Love interest can be wow.
No, because it's
they can't by proxy pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah, because there's not, a woman isn't talking about something aside from a relationship with a man.
Yeah, but I will say that I just hate, one thing I hate about modern cinema, the Western world, the way we view love. I don't know, the patriarchy. Love should be a love story love isn't inherently oppressive. Do you know what I mean? Well, it's not supposed to be. And I feel like it is in cinema. Like, it's just like a love story shouldn't be. Oh, I can't speak. Anywho, let's move on.
It's also just so male dominated in general.
Oh, absolutely.
But if we look at the beginning, the film sets out by kind of, and this was a good reminder for me actually for, you know, just what happens with the Rings of Power, like how the rings get separated between the kingdoms of elves, men, and dwarves. And out of all of them, so you've got 3 rings to the elves, what is it, like 7 to the dwarves, 9 to the men. There's only one female that gets a ring, Galadriel. And she's like obviously the most badass, probably. But God, come on. Tolkien, come on.
Yeah, it's just, and the thing is, it's not even, it's such a funny, because in the first film, I'm guessing there's more women later. It's so male dominated that it's not even like there are women anywhere. There were just men everywhere.
There's, I believe, one more woman. Well, there's definitely one more, I think, just main character woman.
Okay.
Maybe sorry, unless we count Shelob, the spider. That's a fucking spider.
I don't know anything about that lady, but yeah, no show to her.
The spider. Oh. She's a giant spider.
Oh
my facetious.
God. Not my favourite character from James and the Giant Peach. Crossover episode. He's a legend.
What, literary spiders? Do we get her in Charlotte's Web?
I hate to say it. I don't think I ever. No, it rings a bell. No, it's Animal Farm I've never read. Charlotte's Web was there. I think that James and the Giant Peach, no offense to Lord of the Rings, is probably the most, maybe because I've never read Lord of the Rings, is arguably that I've seen so far the best film adaptation of a book. There, I said it.
Wow.
Let's move on before.
Yeah. Right, so okay, we open with a blah blah blah. This is what's happened with all the rings, and essentially it's a story of like the Silmarillion. Well, it's not the Silmarillion, the Hobbit, and then we get to the Shire, which is where all the hobbits live.
Okay. So you didn't explain it properly. The evil guy, what's his name?
Sauron.
Sauron makes one ring to conquer them all. He's like the poker
Can I
master.
just say, it hits different for me now.
Yeah.
Knowing that they cast Sauron as sexy in Rings of Power.
Oh my God. Everything about this film has an undercurrent of sex. That is probably one of the things that was made. Yes, honestly.
Well, it never, ever used to for me.
It's just
how is everything about sex? How is everything? How are you getting erotic from this film?
It is. I'm sorry. We'll get to it when we get to it. But for example, when what do they call the Demogorgons in this universe?
The ring wraiths.
The ex-elves that turned.
Oh, sorry. There's the orcs and then the Uruk-hai.
Okay.
Oh, no. You're talking about, I believe, the Uruk-hai, who are a cross between orcs and goblins.
No, this guy was an elf. He used to be an elf, he said.
Oh, those are orcs. No.
Is it Salmador? What's that guy's name?
No, Saruman.
Guys, you guys are going to get furious if you're fans. So Saruman
is the wizard,
talking to, I believe it was an orc, and telling him he used to be a half elf. Do you know how you came to be? That was so erotic to me. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Like, there is just so many things that are a bit. I need to stay off Pornhub. Okay, let's start with the Shire. Back to you, Natalie. So,
back to me.
One ring to rule them all. That's the premise. You got it, kids?
There's this one ring, and Gollum did have it, little creepy Gollum, but he dropped it. Bilbo found it. That is dealt with in The Hobbit. But the ring wants to be found. It wants to get back to its master. Sauron is calling. No, sorry, Sauron.
Oh, you little tease. Take me to the
master. And we're in the Shire. It's Bilbo Baggins's, like, I don't know, 5,000th birthday.
He's 101. No,
Okay.
111. 111 for the spiritual girlies.
uh, but he's decided that he's going to go to Rivendell to cross with them and be no more.
Rivendell, is that also a show on? And that's Riverdale.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Quite different.
Coincidence? I think not.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Who cares? Sorry, move on. I apologize.
Like Bilbo is. I'm trying to do this in a way where we just don't go through the whole thing. So, what did you think about the Shire?
Okay, the Shire is the cutest place. I want to live in one of those houses.
Oh, the Hobbit. Can I just a slight tangent? So when I was growing up, we obviously like many people, like many people would do. We would go and stay with my grandparents, and they lived in this. They had this amazing house, and I was to this day so upset. This is going to sound really bratty. So upset that they sold it so that they could buy a house closer to where we lived, because that house that they had was just amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a room that they used to call the Hobbit hole, but this was before I really knew anything about Lord of the Rings at all. And to me, the Hobbit hole sounded like it was like a creepy, scary cave. So I used to never want to go and sleep in the Hobbit hole room. It really like coloured my view of that room.
Yeah.
But now, obviously now, if I'd known what a Hobbit hole was, I'd want to be there in there all the time, because those brown houses are adorable. So sweet.
For context, for people outside the UK, the actual book, The Hobbit, is like one of the biggest books I would say ever here.
I think it's international.
Oh, okay. But especially here, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings is nothing on The Hobbit. I'm sorry. The Hobbit is huge as a book.
Yeah.
Like when I tell people I haven't read The Hobbit, they're like, did you go to school?
I've tried. I've tried to read Tolkien. I have the books here and I feel like I need to do a stab at it, but I also just think I find the writing difficult to read because he can go on and on for like 12 pages about a leaf.
But that's what they call description of.
Okay, well, in this fast-paced world of like now, instant gratification, I need you to tell me the leaf is green.
Have you seen a leaf before? Okay, you've got it.
All I need to know. Okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah, thoughts on the Shire. We loved it. Would it be a place that I'd like to go and settle down and retire to? Absolutely.
Loved it. Loved the Hobbits and loved those fireworks. God damn it. The dragon.
They don't make them like that.
Thank God. Around here, you have a dragon flying at your house every Tuesday. Nutcases.
That is true.
Everybody loves an illegal firework. I'm sick of it.
And
oh my God, Bilbo Baggins just wanted to get the F out of there. And I don't know if it was the ring making him an arsehole. It was. Even when he was like, okay, bye.
Doing his the cheap trick.
Yeah.
He should never have done that. That was so bad of him.
But he was funny.
Yeah. Like, you know what? I'm going to go to Rivendell and I don't give a shit. Sauron, come find me, bitch. Yeah, arguably you could say that this was, kind of Bilbo that set all of this into motion by putting on that fucking ring.
He's allowed. Oh, yes. Is that when the demon summoned?
Yeah, because no, it wasn't. To be fair, actually, sorry, my bad. To be fair to Bilbo, no, it was because they found Gollum and they tortured Gollum and he let it slip. To be fair to Gollum, though, he could have just said from the get-go, I don't fucking have it, go to the Shire and go find Baggins. But he didn't need to be tortured.
It wasn't his loyalty or kindness or no snitch policy. That it was the fact that he didn't want them to have the ring either because he wants it for himself. He wasn't doing it out of
True, but he could have saved himself a lot of pain.
He'd rather have the ring. And yeah,
Yeah,
the
but
ring is also
that's
a
where,
symbol for
and
addiction, apparently.
oh yeah, and it is addictive. That is where maybe Schmeagol could have come out. Although I suppose Gollum,
Schmeagol the Beagle. Who's Schmeagol?
Schmeagol is. I can tell you, but it is coming up in the film in the
Oh,
next films.
Schmeagol. I know Schmeagol.
Smeagol was basically Gollum when he was a hobbit.
When he was small. Gollum was an actual hobbit.
Yeah, the ring turned him.
I know the ring turned him, but I thought he was something else. I thought he was a human or something.
No, I think he was a hobbit.
Gosh, look what meth does to people. That's no shade to anybody who's been on meth listening to this. We've all had our own battles. Okay, then let's move on. So blah blah blah. Frodo wants the ring. Frodo's like, I'll put it in my
Frodo doesn't
pussy.
want the ring. He's like, no fucking way. Gandalf, you take it. I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Then Sam is like, oh, I'm outside. And Gandalf's like, you go with him. So they go in. So basically, the only way to destroy the ring is to throw it in a giant volcano. Next.
Exactly. Yeah. But I also think, hold on one second. Let me just, this is not doing the film justice. We're assuming that you've seen this all because, you know, who hasn't? I feel like given what we know about the ring or what Frodo kind of knows about the ring, he doesn't know a lot yet in the Shire. He is a bit careless with it. Like, he just puts it inside. You know, he's got a little waistcoat on. The pockets in a waistcoat are not deep. You know, they're really like shallow little pockets.
But they're tight and no, you're thinking of more modern waistcoats.
Oh, as opposed to the Middle Earth fashions, which where they have deep pockets.
You had a tweed waistcoat, like a properly tailored, not like pretend Savile Row, which is what you get now. Guys, I'm not being a snob. I just think it's ridiculous that you have to pay the same price and they don't make the suit how they used to. Surely I should get a discount. Like, what? Anyway, whatever. It's like a properly, like I've had like an older tweed jacket where the pockets are like, oh no, you can put stuff in it.
And you think it would be say like a ring though?
But what it was like guys, not to be
sorry,
it was like there was a seam on the bottom and the top. So there was like it was like doubled. That's not coming out.
Okay. Well, then maybe I'm being a bit harsh on Frodo.
I think you're being a bit harsh on the tailoring in the Shire, to be honest. Better than you think. Yeah, those cloaks were cute. But not practical, because who wants a cloak that isn't waterproof? Please be serious. We live in the wetlands.
Well, I guess they don't. Hobbits don't really adventure, do they?
They don't even leave the house. Yeah. Sam let us know. This is the furthest I've ever been from my house. Oh, they're still in the Shire.
But Gandalf is gone. Gandalf decides he needs to find out more information about this ring. He's going to go to speak to Saruman, who at this point, we don't know that Saruman has turned and Saruman is evil now. So he goes to Isengard.
So this is the Battle of the Wizards, which is what I wanted to talk about.
Okay, fine.
That is the funniest scene in the whole film because they're both so long. Do you know what I mean? And they both have these, I don't know if they're wigs. Yeah. Honestly, shout out to the wig department because I thought those two were the most natural. Is his name Saruman?
Saruman. What did you call him before? Salad Man.
I don't know. That icy blonde unit, loved it with the centre part.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Interesting that his beard, they didn't try and match the beard to the wig because I get that Gandalf's distinction was he had the more curly, like natural. Darker grey wig.
Not groomed, yeah. Because he was Gandalf the grey.
Yeah. Whereas Salaman was like the dead Saruman.
Yeah.
He had like the bone straight flat press, white even unit. But the beard, maybe because it was his natural beard, wasn't the same colour or anything. No. I couldn't help but notice as a fan, but I really enjoyed their wigs. But watching them fight was very funny to me. It was funny. Also because like they look genuinely older, and there's nothing worse than seeing, not that you should laugh if an older person falls, I wouldn't in real life. There's nothing worse than seeing somebody older or somebody who looks like they could like break a bone fall. Yeah. So seeing every time they hit the floor, I was like, that looks like it hurts. But now I'm laughing because they just keep going. Also a funny part where Gandalf wanted to leave the room, so he looks at one door, it shuts. He looks at the second door, it shuts. Honey, if after 2 doors, surely you know that every door's going to shut. He kept looking.
He didn't. I feel like Gandalf didn't really catch on to Saruman being evil.
He was just like, oh my God.
I guess there's a wind. Let me try the other door out here.
That was so funny to me.
Mm.
Yeah, shout out to Saruman though.
Why?
Because you need a villain.
True. And he does the good guy turned villain is a great story. I'm sorry, but
nothing about him gave me good guy turned villain.
Yeah, well, obviously to us he was always bad guy. Very bad guy.
Is naive, but in the best way. In the best way. Yeah, I think that's fair. I feel sorry for Gandalf that he put his faith by Saruman. I love Gandalf. I'm also coincidentally, even though I've never seen the film, in my favorite game, my team is called Gandalf. I just joined. I was thinking about that today. I was like, that's so random. I haven't even seen the film. That seems like a good guy. Let me join this one. But yeah,
he is a good guy. But luckily, so we're now, that's all happening in Isengard. The hobbits of Sam and Frodo have found Merry and Pippin going through Farmer Maggot's field. And the ring racer after them. They need to get to Bree.
Yeah, I don't know if they know how serious the fact that they're being hunted is at that point.
Well, obviously, Frodo has a bit more of an idea, and it is a bit spooky when this horrible rider comes that obviously isn't really human, and all of these bugs and stuff are coming out of the earth. But you got to hand it to the hobbits, to Merry and Pippin. They're just like, all right.
They're used to being a mischief.
We need to go to, I know where to go to get you to Bree. And can we just talk about how the turn of events of Frodo being a long jump girl?
A long jump girl?
Yeah. He makes that jump onto the little boat thing to get them across the river.
Not
into Bree. Do you not remember? So they're running. It's nighttime now. Merry and Pippin, and I think also Sam, they're all on the little raft thing. Frodo's running behind, and he makes that big leap because they've already taken the rope off.
Is Long Jump Girl a reference to something? That is the most...
Oh, yeah, it is, but it's a reference, I think, to something that we were discussing off air last week.
How you'd want to be the person who was good at long jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's such a... Sorry, guys, we talk a lot after the show has ended, so sometimes I don't know what's right from left.
Yeah.
But we were talking about somebody I used to know that was, when God gives with both hands, and you can play the cello amazingly.
Yes.
And you're also a long jumper. So.
Okay, now I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look what we dream about, being a cello playing long jumper.
Yeah.
I would still love that life. Okay, so they make it to the pub. Frodo disappears. I thought Frodo disappeared because they were looking for him. People were looking for him. Because everyone was like, yeah, I know. Where's Baggins? Yeah, I know Baggins.
No, he disappeared.
Because he accidentally put the ring on.
Exactly, yeah.
I also thought he was just getting nervous and he was getting shaky because everyone was like, obviously
he was because he's already given a false name, Mr. Underhill. he was told don't use the name Baggins because it's too like they
Yeah.
know the name Baggins, it's not safe. But obviously fucking Pippin doesn't know anything. And to be fair, he wasn't given a briefing, right?
Exactly.
Although at the same time, they are being chased by something, and he has given a false name at the inn. So you just sort of think Pippin, like, just put two and two together. But, you know, the Merryweathers aren't very, you know, they're not all there. So he just gives the game away because, you know, he wants to get a pint as opposed to a half pint. And then Frodo enters the other plane, the shadow plane, the upside down, exactly. But luckily for them, there is and sorry, I want to say from the outset that I'm not trying to objectify people and be reductive and only kind of boil things down to people's appearance. I'm telling you,
some of these people are booked because of their looks. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to be shady, but let's be honest. Who are you talking about? The hot guy, number one, the human.
Strider, aka Aragorn. Luckily,
Aragorn
he's
is fit.
So fit.
Make no mistake about it.
We can't. He's got it all. He's got great looks, swordplay, honor.
Oh,
he's just not very funny. I don't think I've ever really seen him crack a joke. But then he's got like a lot on his mind. So, you know. Oh
my God, not you giving him like top trump points. Yeah.
Look, if we had to.
0, strength 10.
Yeah.
Oh my God, sex appeal 20. Should we make
off the charts?
A Lord of the Rings. Oh my God, we should make a card game for that's just every character ever. We should pick points that we've talked about, pick points and just rate them all.
Yeah.
And you know the criteria will be insanely stupid.
Horrible.
Baking skills 3. Oh God.
But it's true. Like he has undeniable sex appeal.
Yeah. And like the royal family in real life, fictional royal families are always smoking hot.
Always. But what I don't really get, and I feel like they just don't do a good enough job explaining this, is so the ringwraiths come to Bree, and they go and raid a room. And you know, they lead you to believe that the hobbits are going to be there, and then they come down, they smash on the pillows, and it's all just pillows. Because Strider's got the hobbits in a different room across the way. So you just sort of think, like, these ringwraiths are not doing a very good job. They really just think, oh, let me just search here and then not find them. Like, why?
They're like the police. They just get leads and follow them. They're not necessarily like...
They don't like use your brain and think maybe there's a different...
But you go to where you're sent first, because I thought they've got them. So, yeah.
Oh.
But there were
to be fair, they were still very hot on the heels after they left the pub. So...
Yeah. So I'd give them a 3 out of 10 for investigations.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hot on the chase, never quite get it.
So now we're on the run. Aragorn's got these 4 little hobbits. The ringwraiths. No, actually, they're all. So they go to, oh God, what's it called? Weathervale.
Rivendell.
No. This is where this is where Frodo gets stabbed.
Got a list.
Because firstly, Frodo gets stabbed.
Stabbed twice was not on my bucket list.
Frodo gets stabbed because once again, they fucking Merry and Pippin and also Sam light a fucking fire in the middle of the night.
I could relate to them always being hungry, and they are right about second breakfast. You do actually need breakfast and a second breakfast. It's true. Like
11sies. Yeah, tea time.
It's a thing. Yeah. It's a thing, because I used to wonder why I'm so hungry. There's no way you're gonna, especially if you're going to work, eat at like 7, 8. and glass till 1 p.m. You
But
need second breakfast.
we do need to differentiate the fact that what they're doing, this quest and the journey that they're currently on, that is not just going to work. You are in fight or flight survival mode. You need to just like employ some different skills. You can't just be like making a fire in the middle of the night and being so blasé about it.
Yeah, vibes.
Yeah, because that's what brings the ring race. And then Frodo gets stabbed, which causes a load of problems.
I'm getting Frodo stabbed. That's so funny. But he's all right in the night.
It's all right. I guess so. Only because Arwen comes along. Arwen, the sexy elf. Sorry for that.
Yeah, so that's when we find out the human and the elf are having a relationship, which is forbidden.
But also, Aragorn isn't just any kind of man. He is from like a line of men called like the Dunedain, which is like the long life men.
Nepotism,
that
baby.
We say. Yeah, the original. Why not?
Royalty are the original nepotism.
And you got to give props to Arwen for saying to Aragorn, mate, I'm the faster rider. So if anyone's taking Frodo to my hometown, my fucking land with my people, where my dad's going to help him, it's going to be me. I'm not staying here with these hobbits.
Yeah.
And then you have to concede on that.
And my only critique of this film, this is when I started to notice there's a shooting style. I want to know more, but guys, for next week I'm going to read more about the directional inspirations for each film, because there were some bits in this film which I really liked. I feel like they kind of mimicked like a Japanese style. Do you know what I mean? And then there were some things where I felt, because of the way they had to shoot it, you can kind of see it's like a little fragmented. And one of the places I noticed was the stare off into the distance beauty shots. They were very like music video. And the thing is, this is coming from someone who considers music videos a form of art, like genuinely. But it was a bit like, okay, now look over here. Okay, we've got it. Do you know what I mean?
Now we have to move on. That's a wrap on ambient shot 5 in Rivendell.
Oh my god, yes. And there was one line, especially that Sam delivered, where I was just like, how many takes did that take? Where he just, it's like it's so fragmented to just cut to just him shouting. It was when Frodo was leaving and he was like, why? I don't know what he said. You probably go, why did you let him go? Or something like that. But it was so pronounced and so it's like,
do you know what? Some of those could also be where maybe because the film is so bloody long, they've had to cut a scene.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Oh gosh. But it's all part of the fun, man. It's all part of the fun.
It is, yeah. So
I would love to see a parody. I would love to see one. By the Wayans brothers, naturally.
Can we talk about Rivendell?
The cast of Scary Movie. That would be so good. Rivendell. Okay, I have nothing to say about Rivendell. Didn't care.
Rivendell.
It's not Rivendell, it's Rivendell. No, don't let me correct you. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. You are
it's Rivendell.
Yeah, like I don't know why you're listening to me. I don't know.
I just love Rivendell. I think it's again another place would love to go visit. Obviously, fictional doesn't exist, but as a place where
I feel like I've seen nicer places, and I think it's because they're trying to
in Middle Earth.
No, not in Middle Earth.
You won't catch me getting in one of those houses.
What do you mean?
Like if you're being shown around by an estate agent, you're like, oh no, Rivendell's not really.
I wouldn't be able to afford to live there. I was more thinking, like, if I'm going on holiday, there are other fantasy.
An Airbnb, yeah.
It didn't have enough like water and like blossom. Yeah, am I missing something?
I mean, there's a massive river.
Oh, I just felt like it was
That's
very much like giving Bond. I don't know.
Riverdale is good, but you know what? To each their own.
I love
It's
it.
fun. We don't all have to like everything. And we're not in Rivendell for very long. This is where the Fellowship gets forged.
Yeah,
And if this was like any other film franchise, that would probably be like the where the film would have ended before the next film would begin.
not if it was Marvel
True, I suppose Marvel does compete with Lord of the Rings. Well, Lord of the Rings set the stage for the 3 hour
for the
film.
epic.
Apart from no, sorry, because they're like epics like back in the day, you know, like your
Yeah,
Ben Hur's, your Ten
yeah,
Commandments.
yeah.
But they're biblical, so I feel like that's different.
It's all the same story. Yes, guys, I'm saying religious stories and fantasy stories are all the same story.
True. There's a
Sorry.
quest. It's all about the journey, not necessarily the destination, but then there's also a big
Insert
task that you
Miley
need to
Cyrus, The
do.
Climb. What a great song.
Absolutely.
There's
Um,
always gonna be another mountain. I'm always
always
gonna
gonna
wanna
have to
make
make
you
him
move.
move.
Come on. Great song.
Uh, what do you think about the Fellowship players that we've got? What were your first impressions?
Okay, so when we used to hang out at parties till 7 a.m.,
Shout out
so
to
one
those,
of my
but
friends
actually
from
don't shout them out.
Yorkshire used to constantly do that Sean Bean speech. And I just found it funny. I didn't know why. I was like, why are you doing this right now? But he would always do it. And so seeing it, I could
One cannot
not
simply just walk into Mordor.
say that. Like sometimes he'd do like the full thing, but even just like he would just say that. And it would just be so funny to me. So obviously I just could not take that seriously because I
Yeah.
was just like, you haven't got to
I
be
don't
kidding
think
me.
you can't take it seriously now because it's also just the butt of so many memes.
So true. What? Who? I bet he had no idea that that would become that
Iconic.
scene and those lines are arguably, you know, something becomes so not larger than the film, but in the fact that it now
It
means
is
something else
absolutely, yeah.
to the point where I'm just like, oh, this is where it's from.
And it almost when you see where it's from, you're like, oh,
Makes less
okay,
sense than
yeah.
ever.
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
oh, good old Boromir.
Can we pause for a second? Sorry.
Yeah,
But I will say I had no idea that Sean Bean's character was such a big thing in this film. I didn't
he's
know he was a.
massive.
But how comes I know every single character? Like as a non-watcher, I don't only just know these characters, recognize them. I know their personality types of every single
Mm-hmm.
person in the Fellowship. I've never seen him.
But it's because Boromir dies.
So,
But the
like,
others go because
oh, have a
you
longer journey. I knew he was in
exactly.
the film, but I didn't know anything about his character. And I also thought he was going to have a bigger moment of betrayal for some reason. I thought he was going to have a real Judas moment, but it wasn't that bad.
But it's not. It's. I guess it's not supposed to be that bad because it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I was, but no, actually, it was bad. But then he
Is
did
this
redeem
when you
himself. So
decided that you don't like Sean Bean?
what? When have I ever said I don't like Sean Bean?
I'll pull
I
up the
say I don't like
tapes.
Boromir.
No, you don't like. When we were talking
No,
about how,
no. It's not that I don't like Sean Bean. Sean Bean just plays the same character in everything. He's like a Liam
this is
Neeson.
nothing like Ned Stark. Ned
He's
Stark was a
like
man of honor. This guy was a bit more like of a
he's a bit
pirate.
more of a rogue.
Yeah,
And he's a bit more like, I want to, Gondor's my fucking kingdom. But he
yeah.
comes good in the end. He comes
So
so honorable in the end. And he is like, do
how
you know what,
hard anyway?
Aragorn? You are you are my king. You are
You're
the
the
king of
baddest bitch
Gondor.
in town.
We've been keeping your seat warm, but you go fucking take your kingdom, my
Nobody's doing it
kingdom.
like you. Nobody. And he said, I
Mm-mm.
know. R.I.P.
Nobody does it better. But he's also like, maybe you could have come along like a bit earlier when I called the fucking horn.
Oh,
There's also a thing.
he didn't need to apologize at the end though. Like that's what irritates me about people. Obviously, you're powerless to the ring. Like it's kind of arrogant to think that you're not. Get a
No, but
grip.
he's more like, oh, I thought I'd maybe be a bit more of a better man like you were. What I didn't really get is why do they have to? We're skipping massively ahead, but
who cares?
never mind. Why did...
Where are we?
We're
not
at the end of
there?
the film.
Shit. Let's go back to the minds of Moria. But tell me what you're thinking first.
Just why Aragorn, why they had to let Frodo go on his own.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Minds of Moria.
Minds of Moria.
Yeah.
So that, the Fellowship has been formed. They're on their way to Mordor because, Frodo's like, I don't know the way. And then they're all like, I will show you. My sword is yours. As long as I have breath, then you shall have it. Gondor is with you. Blah, blah, blah. And then all the hobbits are like, well, he's not going if we're not going. And the Fellowship is born.
This is literally like trying to go to the shop when you're in a house full of kids. And like, and you're like, next thing you know, you're with 9 kids in Asda. Anyway, sorry.
There's also a moment where, when Frodo pipes up and says, do you know what? I'll take it. I'll do it. And Gandalf's face just falls. And you have to think, I know why his face is falling, because you're like, oh, fuck, I was afraid you'd do this, and now you've done it. But you're like, but Gandalf, what were you expecting? You were all but gave him this task.
But I thought his face fell because he knew it was his destiny, and he was like, fuck, it's happening. Nobody told
No, Gandalf's face falls.
Yeah.
So, as in, he knows that it's Frodo's destiny to...
Like, who else could have done it? So I felt like he was like, oh, no, I don't want this to happen. Like, just like...
No, it is that. He's like, oh. It's the knowing that...
My baby!
He's the only one that can do it, but you're hoping that he won't volunteer, but then he does, and you're like, oh, fuck. Well, this is a perilous journey. But I just think you must have known... when you gave Frodo the ring. So why are you like looking so like, fuck? Because there's a huge difference between thinking something's going to happen and it actually happening. It's like, when you try and imagine something bad happening so that you can kind of escape the feeling that will bring out, but then it happens and it feels 10 times worse. That's life, baby. Yeah, just that, fuck. Yeah. Anyway, so Fellowship is formed. They say the name of the film in the film, and we're all on our way. And they're trying to decide where to go. But actually, there's one point where Gandalf puts the decision onto Frodo, which kind of annoyed me because they're all like, they're having a bit of a moment where all the way in Isengard, fucking Saruman is using his magic to create merry hell on their journey. He's sending all of these birds at them. He's sending the ground's like crushing. There's an avalanche, all this shit. And so what's his face? Boromir's like, we need to go to through Rohan. Let's go that way. And Gimli's like, let's go through the mines. And Gandalf's like, let's not go through the fucking mines. But why don't we let Frodo decide? Just think, but why? You've already said let's not go through the mines. Why'd you have to then make Frodo make the decision? He knows they need to go through the mines, but he doesn't want to say let's go through the mines, and he's just taking it out. He's like, let's just follow fate. Well, if fate's called Frodo, it's just, but Frodo doesn't know anything. He doesn't know the dangers of any of it. So you're asking somebody who's totally not got any of the information to make a decision, and I just find that a little bit negligent. I don't. But there we are. They decide. Frodo's like, fuck it, let's go through the Mines of Moria. I think that also it's a moment where like it establishes that the ring carrier is a huge thing. It's like they are here for him, so whatever he needs, they'll do. But like also what he needs is like guidance. No. It isn't just, well, that's the wrong decision, but we'll do that anyway. It's the wrong decision. Because he knows, even what's his name, Sallyface, knows that he's like, haha, you're going to have to go through the mines and you don't want to. Let's see what you're going to do. So he's like, I don't want to go through the mines. What do you think, Frodo? Frodo's like, let's go through the mines. And he's like, fuck. Damn it. Goddamn. And you know what? It would all be fine if not for Fucking Pippin. You just had to touch the arrow.
Yeah, but do you not think he was a bit harsh to Pippin?
Yes and no.
I mean, that's how I was spoken to as a child.
Yeah, and living with that fear, that's definitely going to come back to haunt
It's
Pippin.
so
In fact,
just...
after everything Pippin goes through in the future, probably what he'll remember the most and have to deal with, have the most fallout and have the most trauma to like heal from with those harsh words from Gandalf. Probably. And let me tell you, they go through a lot as these films go on.
But I will say, when people are in extremely stressful situations, they say fucking cunty things.
Yeah. And it just, maybe Pippin he's just, anyway, whatever. So
everyone snaps, I'm just
but
hoping for Gandalf.
you got to say there is some real courage in those hobbits.
Some of it is blind, but yes, I would agree.
Definitely, for sure. It's like, well, fuck it, but they go into things with their whole heart. Whereas the other people, they've seen war, they've seen it. But all these kids have got going. They're not kids. These hobbits have got going for them is like just courage, young friendships. Men. Yeah, all they have is just like gung ho, right? Just like fuck it. I'm just gonna get in it. I've got no skill, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna just cower here and not do anything.
I thought that in the mines when they were running down those things, I'd have been like, do you know what?
No.
They just went for it.
And also, when the mountain troll, or the cave troll comes and all the goblins are there and they're like, you know what? I'm just going to charge into this fray.
And then they just so quickly get into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they get a good few jabs in.
They do, especially Sam.
Yeah.
And when they started stabbing that thing in the hand. And then
they're the ones that bring the cave troll down. Well, part group effort, but
But yeah, when they're outside and they say, sorry guys, I can't be bothered. So when they're at the top of the thing, they have to run down. So the mines, chased by fire demon, running down. Yeah. I had genuine anxiety. That was so fucking well done. It looks so real.
Yeah, incredibly well shot.
Yeah,
it CGI, looks so real. Everything. It looked amazing. And just like also the anguish on everybody's faces, and obviously they slow it down in slow motion when Gandalf is like, fly you fools, and he drops down, and they obviously at that point don't know that he's gonna be like reborn or respawned.
Oh,
they just think he's dead. Well, I mean,
yeah, I know. But still, it would have been nice to be surprised.
On every one of their faces, just that despair, that anguish, to different kind of levels, or from what Gandalf meant to them all. It's like,
but it was also too much of a slow-mo shot for me. I could have done with a bit of pace there. But I like that they showed they were mourning. Yeah,
I enjoyed
I can't lie. I think I did giggle at some of the reactions. But I'm a giggler.
Yeah, in an awkward situation. It's the way I deal with things.
Worst times, honestly. But yeah, I did. I like that they were actually mourning. So Gandalf has fallen down to save them. You will not pass, or whatever he said. And they all ran away.
And at this point, we're only like 2/3 of the way through the film, much like this podcast. We'll speed it along, guys.
Yeah. Now they're with the elves.
Yeah.
And we are introduced to Cleopatra Jones, also known as
Galadriel.
Yes.
Why are we calling her Cleopatra Jones?
It just popped into my head. I don't know where it's from. I don't question my brain. Brain. What do you call those things? Neuron pathways?
Neurological neuron.
I do not question that. Whatever comes up, comes up. It is not for I to know. I didn't know she was like that.
Like what? She's like all powerful.
Me on my period. That's so sexist, but I'm
Wait,
not.
Hold on. When you say all powerful, do you mean when she gets consumed by the ring?
Just in general, her whole vibe is unhinged.
That is one thing where I do have to say it did look a little bit off. Like the way that she was glowing Not saying she shouldn't have been glowing, but it was like a bit. I think there was, for me,
That's
the
age.
special effect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's age.
exactly. It's aged poorly, but
That
at the
and
time,
when Frodo goes to the Upside Down, aged. But
yeah.
kind of it felt much older than it was. Felt like I was watching like a 60s sci-fi. Do you know what I mean? And I love that aesthetic.
A Galaxina, sure.
Love it. And as a character, I did not know. I thought she was very like, guys, everything I'm about to say is problematic. So I'm not saying I prefer, but I do like a woman character who is unhinged like all the time, because you'll get it with because you have such a diversity of men characters, you're able to see so many different characters, aren't you? But with women, because there's so few of them, they kind of have to be a bit more like they can't
extreme.
No, like less so, because it's too misogynistic, isn't it? It's like there's only two women and one of them's completely unhinged. But that doesn't mean that I don't like an unhinged woman on screen. I'm sorry, I just do. Like when I say unhinged, I just mean like it was just so intense and almost to the point where it's like, this is too much. And that's not the character's fault, like the way it was written. Like when she was staring at them and they were like, oh my God, I was cracking up. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? I can speak to you telepathically. It was giving vintage Star Trek. I loved it. And then when she was consumed by the ring, preferred that version of her.
Don't you think in that moment, the likeness between her and the Galadriel in Rings of Power was spot on?
Yeah. But I think isn't that the whole point? It did make me think that the new Galadriel is a very good actress, because she's basically, I didn't think that to a certain point she does have to do like an impersonation half the time as well.
Yeah. She's got a
really fucking
continuity. It matches up that.
But the character is very different, and they've got a lot of explaining to do there. But let's see how I feel further on in the film, because Galadriel isn't in the
she doesn't feature
version
that much.
Okay, because in old Galadriel is not unhinged at all. She's very passionate, and she's I would say a little reckless in the way that heroes are. Like they have risk. What do you call it? They're not risk adverse. What's the opposite of that?
Their appetite for risk is
it's ridiculously high, which makes them actually highly irresponsible. They're just also very good at what they do.
And also tunnel vision though about their mission. It's like they're not always seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah, whereas this Galadriel kind of had the wisdom of someone who's lived for so long that they're almost going senile.
I think that's an accurate,
Yeah, but
that's accurate. And also because she can see in the mirror, she can see past, present, and what potentially is to come.
Yeah, and so none of the magical beings.
You don't really know what's going on.
True, but I didn't get that from her. I felt like she knew exactly what was going on, and she kind of was like shoving it in everyone's face. Like there was poop, and she was like, "Smell it, shit, smell it." Sorry.
Her and Gandalf, I think, used to have a thing.
Well, they're both mental, so that makes sense. Flying off the handle. Refuse to use their magic in good, like, pivotal, in useful ways. Like, hello, this thing is leaning from one side to another. We're running down this bridge that's breaking. The whole time I was like, are you not going to use your magic? Okay,
I think this is what people just think somebody, like, he's a wizard, he can do whatever he wants. I don't like. No, that's magic is still like.
I also
limited.
had to
You're not all...
learn the rules of this universe's magic. Like I don't know at that point. So I was like, okay, so your magic is this is new magic to me. I don't know this magic. Yeah.
And he's still a relatively...
He's human, right?
Young. No, wizards are a different race.
Okay. So he's young.
Well, I mean, he's still, like, if we're looking at, like, levels of wizardom, he's still, like, grey. But then he's about to become Gandalf the White, where he becomes more powerful. So right now, he's not.
Okay. They really are Pokemon. This is insane.
Yeah. Level up, evolve. Yeah.
Yes, and one ring to rule them all. Hello, the freaking anime. But okay.
Okay,
I'd
so
love to see the
now we're
anime version of this.
coming out into the end of the film.
Yeah.
So Galadriel's passed the test. Good for you.
That was awesome. I'm screaming in your face. It was
And that
so.
what I didn't get when she's like, I could, if I had it, it would be used for great power, and you would have, instead of a dark lord, a mighty, like a bright queen. And then she calms down and it's like, oh, I passed the test. I'm like, how? In what world was that passing the test? You
That
literally
felt like
went
a fail.
demented.
That was a fail.
Yeah.
No, but I think
what?
she passed the test because she didn't take it from him.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
she should have. It was
I would
the
never
speed
test
with
myself.
which
She's too powerful to be doing that also.
No,
Hello?
but she didn't test herself. Frodo did, because he directly said, take it, you take it. And then she was tempted by it.
Frodo, fuck around and find out, little boy. You better put that ring away. Sorry.
That's
no
what
shade.
I'm talking about. Stop offering it to people. Stop testing people, Frodo.
I don't think he knows at that point.
No, at that point, I think he learned his lesson, which is why he didn't, when Boromir's like, give it to me.
Yeah.
I can use it for good. He's like, no, I'm not even going to test you because I can see that you're unhinged more so than her.
And now the ring is a metaphor for the pussy/bussy, because some people can't handle it. They cannot. They want it, don't give it to them.
So now Frodo is the gatekeeper of good pussy.
I don't know how we got here. Look what he did to Gollum. Ruined him.
Yeah.
Guys, again, this is genderless. I'm not being sexist. I'm actually just being misogynistic. There's a difference. I'm sorry. I'm joking.
Very deep difference. But maybe is the moral then that not one person should have the ring?
Oh no, it's not a metaphor. It should not be destroyed. Jesus Christ. I take it back. Do not destroy that.
Just let everybody enjoy it. And
no, do what you want with it.
Also,
you don't want anyone to enjoy
the
it.
Eye of Sauron. Is that phallic? I don't know. Some people might say it's a bit, one-eyed snaky, but whatever. I'm not one of those people. It just looks like a fiery eyeball to me.
You just said it.
I heard on the grapevine. So yeah, Boromir just, he's lost it. Frodo's like, fuck you, I'm leaving. So Boromir doesn't really pass the test until Frodo kind of leaves, and he sort of, I think, doesn't he get hit on the head or something?
Yeah,
doesn't Frodo like smack him on the head?
Kicks him.
And then Boromir's like, oh wait, shit, sorry, I didn't mean it. But by that point, Frodo's like running away.
But he never seemed like a great guy. He just seemed like a great warrior. What's the difference?
Oh my god, just wait till you meet his dad. Ugh.
Arsehole.
A real big arsehole.
It always explains it, doesn't it?
Yeah. And who treats his little brother like shit and is all like, Boromir's amazing. Faramir, you're shit. But meanwhile, we obviously know what Boromir did.
He did his best. Now we're in the woods, right? We're in the woods.
We're in the woods, and because Frodo's running around, and he's but all the orcs and Uruk-hai are after him. So Merry and Pippin are like, we'll distract them.
Yeah.
In another just like fuck it moment, like we could just hide here, but actually we know you've got a mission, so we'll just divert this.
That's the thing. People like that in general, I'm such a Gandalf, I'll get annoyed with them, but they always, like, having that kind of energy is so important. You need people like that make more mistakes, but they also will do things that other people just won't do to get stuff done. They'll
get a job done.
They just do
with no questions asked.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, you need this done,
I'll do it. So
I don't even need to know why.
Yeah. And this is a good representation of all the different types of personality and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Imagine I'm saying intelligent things that you need to get something done.
And they do really put their lives on the line, because they get abducted by the Uruk-hai in the end.
And they're the comedic relief as well.
Oh, they really are.
They really are the Chip and Dale of the Tolkien universe.
Yes, and by Chip and Dale we mean Chip and Dale, not the Chip and Dale dancers.
No, I mean the Chipmunks, but they're named after them, right?
Chip and Dale. Are they named for the
dancers? They're not. My bad.
The Magic Mike F dancers.
They're really old. Yeah. Okay, my bad. But yeah, were you sad, happy, relieved?
Boromir died.
Yeah.
I think it is a very poignant moment.
I think he was going to die then.
He takes so many arrows, and it just shows you how strong he is, and also his force of will to actually protect Merry and Pippin.
Yeah.
But they just fucking stand there gawping. And he's like, fucking run.
Oh, okay.
Run.
They're like
they really are so shocked. But they could run, and then they get
people aren't paralyzed by fear enough for me.
They were in that moment, and then they just get swept away. They get taken off. But yeah, it was a sad moment, I think, because it's also now the whole thing. So up until this point, there's been a big push for, we've got the Fellowship of the Rings, we're going to protect you, this is a big thing. And so early on, the Fellowship breaks.
Yeah.
Like Gandalf fucking does a Jerry Spice and leaves. Boromir dies. And did I say Jerry Spice? Ginger Spice.
Jerry Spice makes more sense.
Yeah. Boromir dead. Frodo and Sam leave. Merry and Pippin abducted. So the Fellowship is a fallacy. Well, in the sense that the Fellowship has to be together for it to actually work. But I suppose as we go on, what we find out is that despite the fact that the Fellowship, the group itself is fragmented,
they're still the
bond
Fellowship.
Of fellows.
Yeah, you don't need to be together. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I loved it. It was cute. We'll get into Legolas next episode because I'm guessing he has more.
Oh gosh, yeah. There are some.
What a shot, though.
Two Towers have got the Battle of the Helm's Deep is incredible.
Oh well.
As a fight scene, and I'm not me. I'm not necessarily one for gratuitous battle scenes and violence, but in Lord of the Rings, I love it. Just the choreography, is absolutely amazing. And in the next film, you'll see Gimli and Legolas's relationship kind of unfriend to develop a bit more, because right now they haven't really done or said very much at all.
Yeah, Legolas is a bit Sam, not always, but there's a few moments that are a bit for me. Same with Sam. Not saying Sam's performance was amazing. He was the best character for me in this, arguably. Actually, I don't know. But Legolas had a few slightly wooden moments where I was just like...
Oh, I mean, that continues. I think he plays the character wooden. I love it. Him. Mostly because I think, what?
It also reminded me, sorry to objectify.
I'm so shocked. But...
I just can't believe you said that. It's such a harsh thing to say, and then you're like, but no big deal. But
it's true. It's well known.
That lace front was outrageous.
Gorgeous.
No, it wasn't. It was a bit lacy for me.
Oh no! I'm not saying the wig is. I just think he
It reminded me of how much I just as a person that around that time. I was genuine. To me, he was the best looking man.
He really was.
I thought he was.
And he is. We're not saying that as if we were under spellbound, and then now we see him and we're actually, he's not that attractive. He is still a very attractive man.
Now he's more attractive. But I mean, I was like, oh, he was also a revelation. At the time,
you've got him really was. in a long blonde hair. Wow. Find this attractive, sexually awakened, cool. But then also at the same time, around the same time, you've got Pirates of the Caribbean coming out. So Orlando Bloom really was having a moment.
He was. He came out a bit later. That was after the Lord of the Rings.
It was. But it's.
Talk about 2 trilogies to have under your belt in terms of collecting royalty payments. What do they call them in films? I can't remember. Guys, sorry to break up the podcast. I've just had a notification from Crunchyroll, but I'm not logged in, so I can't see what it is. I'm not logged into the app.
On what, sorry?
Crunchyroll, it's the site where like you watch anime basically. It's like Netflix for anime, but the
Okay.
interface is like they kind of have updated it, but it's just for the amount of money I know they make. It's crazy basic.
Right, you do.
Yeah, but I have a feeling because you know the only anime show I really watch is Attack on Titan.
Yes.
So the final part 3 is coming out. So they had the final part and then it ended on a cliffhanger. And I was like, okay, they're going to do a final part 2. Then they were like, okay, no, final season part 3. That's when I was like, I'm going to fight you. Because I haven't read the manga. So a lot of people have. So I was just like, they were like, yeah. But I was like, no, I did not know it was going to be like that. I was getting close to the end. I was like, they're not gonna do it. And they did. And then there was also an announcement that they're going to do a musical version, live action musical. Have to see it. Don't know if I will be able to in this country because nothing good happens here. But it is one of the biggest shows in the world though, so it'd be crazy if they didn't. But yeah, there was something coming apparently on Sunday. So if they did start yesterday, it would technically no, because it's out in 2023. What the hell did they release? Sorry, guys, this is not the This is not the
I
place.
hope you guys found that
I know
interesting and informative.
I know some of you watch it.
Yeah,
it's a huge show. It's huge. You would like it. I think you would. Oh my God.
Sorry, I'm not sure where we go from here.
Oh, it's finished. The film's done. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah, so next week we'll be talking about The Two Towers, which is arguably my favorite of the 3.
And the funniest.
Yeah.
So
I think it's one of
a win-win.
Exactly. And also it's the best game out of the 3 on
what console?
I think we played it on GameCube, you know. And we did.
Oh, what a time. What a time.
Oh my God. And you used to be like, I always played as Legolas, Tim always played as Gandalf.
No, I'm only saying that because I just think GameCube is such a niche console.
Absolutely. It definitely is.
You're the only person I've ever known who also had one. But I'd never really played mine because I don't know if I told you this. I asked for a GameCube. So, guys, my birthday is very close to Christmas. It's 6 days to Christmas. I asked for a GameCube for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it my birthday? I can't remember.
I want a GameCube for Christmas and an Xbox for my birthday.
No, that would have been one of that would have been my brother. I never asked for such crazy gifts. But because of that, I just always felt like I was getting shortchanged with the gifts. You know what I mean? Because it's all
absolutely, yeah.
So I asked for a GameCube for Christmas. And bearing in mind, my brother PlayStation, it was always his. Even though we all played PlayStation, it was his. PlayStation 2 was his. I'd have to ask him to play the PlayStation. But the GameCube was for everyone. And I will never forget it. I was fuming. Everyone said I was being a brat. I didn't give a heck. I was like, no, this is an injustice.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I'm still not over it. I feel like I really learned a lesson that day, and it really made me change the way I saw certain members of my family. And let me tell you, they're still the same. One rule for others, another for I. Why? Because I am a woman. Sorry, no, I didn't rhyme.
Yeah. You're a she elf, or rather a she human, as the ring riders would say.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if you noticed that.
I don't.
But this time around, I just noticed when they call Arwen a she elf, and I'm just like, she is also just an elf. Like, if that was Elrond, you wouldn't be like, give us the halfling he elf. But no, you know.
Why are they all halflings, by the way?
Because that's another name for hobbit. Halfling.
Because they're half.
Yeah. No, size-wise, it's a size reference.
That's so offensive. I knew it was derogatory, but still, God damn. Call me a halfling. Rude.
I will show you ring rage.
Yeah, ring rage. Yeah.
So yeah, those were our thoughts. unabridged and thought through on the Fellowship of the Ring. We'll see you next week for the Two Towers.
Before we go, I just want to say, everybody go to Netflix if you haven't already and watch Wendell and Wild. I have to look up the name because I just thought it was called Wendell. But it's an animation, I think, by Jordan Peele. I don't know if it's actually a Key and Peele production, but it's so fucking good. How everybody, I shouldn't compare it actually. I'm not going to compare it to other animations on Netflix. I was going to say how everybody felt about another animation is kind of feel like how I feel they should have felt about this, but it's just really good.
Which one?
I'm not saying on air because I refuse to compare. I'll tell you off. But yeah, okay. It's just really, really good. Yeah. Very, very
Another
good.
cute series on Netflix animated, which is good for adults as well. I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's a retelling of the Grimm stories.
Yeah.
And it's quite dark.
Yeah.
I mean, the Grimm tales are obviously dark in itself, but this is to the point where you're like, this feels like it's an animation, but, you know, mostly for adults. But I guess it's a family
All
thing.
The best ones
some
are.
of this is, there's definitely needs to be a warning for the age range here.
That's the thing. I feel like with the Netflix age, for me, shows at the end. Like I remember when I was watching
when we're already fucking traumatized.
Yeah, then it's like, oh, this is a 15. Okay,
you know.
Thank you. But then it's kind of bad because you kind of just go on your own. But yeah, see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Rewind the tape.